Am I supposed to press something? Okay. Oh, great. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out. But in the middle of your walk, it starts to rain. Typical. But maybe this is just a sign that you should have stayed at home today. Yeah, you can always try again tomorrow, right? You turn to head home when. Kitty! Also, I hope you guys know I'm taking the cat home. What was that? Only a few people around here on the street. Makes sense due to the increase of missing persons around the area recently. Well, that and the weather. But tis, am I right? Am I right? But none of them react to the sound at all. Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a dark, dingy alleyway. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward. The ground dampened by the rain makes your steps sound louder and more confident than you actually feel. Finally, the sound source comes into view in the cold, dim light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, it's a cat. Guess that should have been obvious. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine gold among the dark sea of its black fur. How am I not supposed to take him home? He looks like my cat. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. Hold up. I'm shocked by this. So cute. And it definitely knows it. You've never had much of an opinion, one way or the other, about cats before. But if they're all like this one, it's a shock they haven't already found a way to rule the world. You don't think you'd mind bowing down to a feline overlord? I named my cat Bastet. Look it up. You look around in the alley with a small frown. Who leaves cats in cardboard boxes these days anyway? Wouldn't they just jump out and leave the box eventually? That's your first red flag, idiot. The cat doesn't answer you because it's a cat. Obviously, yeah. It also doesn't do as you suggest and leave the box. It's just looking at you, as if waiting for you to make the next move. You know what? You reach into the box and pick the cat up, holding it out in front of you. Why not? You're all alone and well. I'm kinda in the same boat myself, so you bring the cat close. You didn't realize it was shivering until just then, but it slowly breathes easier as it presses into your chest. Oh. Why not stick together, right? At least for a little while. You think a little while will probably be more like a day. You'll be responsible and take it to a shelter tomorrow. But for now, let's get you out of the rain, okay? You stop by a small local pet store for some cat food, then head back home. You live in a modest apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. One you living alone in it. So it feels weird having another living being inside it after so long. Wink. Even if it is just a cat. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you watch for a moment as it curiously explores the new environment. Leaving the feline to its own devices, you set about making the both of you some dinner. You take out the can of cat food and open it with the tab on top. You put some cat food on a saucer and click your tongue to call the cat over to you. It perks up at your beckoning and rushes over. It looks at the plate of food and completely ignores it. Not hungry, I guess. You try not to let it annoy you. The cat doesn't understand the concept of money to appreciate that you spent your hard-earned cash on it. It's just a cat after all. I'll just leave it here if you get hungry later, okay? The cat rubs its body against your legs with a purr. You smile. That's enough of a thanks for you. It follows you into the kitchen as you start on your own dinner. You decide that you have enough ingredients for a sandwich. Bread, toasted. Mayo and mustard, spread. Turkey and cheese and lettuce, perfectly placed. What? Oh! You wince as you cut your finger on the knife while slicing a tomato. Oh, my finger. Stupid. You feel a little embarrassed for such a blunder and sigh, tossing the knife onto the cutting board. You're about to head to the bathroom for a bandage when the cat hops up onto the counter. It sniffs at the knife and meows almost pointedly at you. Don't worry, I'm alright. It was just an... You watch as the cat starts to Lick lightly but enthusiastically at the blood on the knife. At your blood. You're so shocked that by the time you come to your senses, the knife has been completely licked clean. The cat sits back, staring at you. You feel a little uneasy. Sure, cats are meat-eating predators, but that was a little weird, right? Sure, you're no cat expert, but that was definitely not something an ordinary cat would do, right? I still don't regret it. Well, regardless, you're not about to abandon a cat in need while it's raining outside. Not after all your efforts. You're going to take it to the shelter tomorrow anyway. What's one night of awkwardness? Weird or not, it's just a cat. The rest of the evening, unfortunately, goes downhill from there. Even after covering up your fingers cut with a bandage, the cat keeps trying to lick at the wound. While you're eating your sandwich, while you're cleaning up the kitchen, while you're trying to watch TV, you gently push it away every time, but you're starting to get worried at the strange behavior. What if it's got a taste for blood and thinks you're food now? You're not sure what you'll do if it starts to get more aggressive. You keep thinking about the cat food sitting in the corner, untouched. Ugh, come on, enough already. You shove it away a little more forcefully this time, out of annoyance. You feel bad immediately, but before you can do anything, the cat meows sharply at you and dashes off around the corner and into the hall. You sigh deeply. At this point, you're just worried that it's going to take a bite out of you in your sleep. Maybe a vet will have an idea of how to calm it down. You can only hope you don't have any other options left other than tossing the cat out in the rain. After finding the number of the local vet, you pick up your landline. The lights just went out. Great. Just great. Rain must have knocked out the power. You check your cell phone only to find that it's out of batteries. You must have forgotten to charge it before leaving out earlier. The outing had been so spur of the moment that I had no doubt messed with your usual routine. You grab a flashlight and turn it on. It's quiet. Too quiet. Did the rain stop? But then, why did the power go out? You look outside. The sky is pitch black. What time is it? You turn to check the clock. The cat sits on top of your digital clock, staring at you. Does that say kill? Help and kill? Lovely. Thinking now, you realize the clock shouldn't be working at all with the power outage, but the numbers are lit up and going completely haywire. The cat stares at you. It's completely still. You'd think it was a statue if you didn't know any better. It's not giving off any indication that it's alive. It's not blinking. It's not even breathing. But its eyes. This isn't normal. You're afraid. You want to run, but you're afraid of letting the cat out of your sight. You consider tossing the cat out after all. But as soon as the thought enters your head, you feel a sharp urge to vomit. Those eyes, its eyes hold you still, even with your flashlight trained on it. Its pupils are large, round, inky pits. The flashlight flickers. And the cat is gone. Fear immediately grips your mind. The silence, punctuated with the rapid pumping of blood in your heart, is overwritten as your ears slowly start to pick up the sound of static all around you. How is the clock working with no power? You don't know why such a question matters at the moment, but you feel as if having the answer will make sense out of everything that's happening. That order will be restored, but no answer comes to mind. You back away from the clock and feel as if the air itself coils tightly and abruptly in response, like a predator prepared to pounce, but waiting for your next move. But you're afraid to move. You're afraid to even take a breath. But you can't stay still forever, right? Whatever is watching you, you can already feel its impatience. It's too eager. You don't know how you know this, but you can sense it as clearly as if it had whispered right into your ear, right into your soul. It won't let you wait it out. Not that you could, even if it did. You can't stay here. You have to run. With this thought, a sudden primal instinct awakens within you, making you tear yourself into a hasty burst of movement, of action. But you're still weak from the fear's grip on your mind. Your legs tangle together under you in your haste, and you fall to the ground. Oh, Ooh. A sharp pain explodes in the center of your foot. At first, you think you've broken your ankle, but something warm and wet trickles down the length of your foot, pulling underneath it. You hear the sound of metal scraping on tiles after skidding across the floor as if it had been kicked. Winded from your fall, you look up in a daze and see the object glinting in a strange light coming in from the house. The light pouring in from your now opened front door. Thoughts of how, when, who, what in regards to your inexplicably open door screech to a halt. As your brain finally identifies the metallic object you've been staring at, it's your kitchen knife. And still tinted red from your earlier blunder. But that's not right. Wasn't it completely licked clean by the... You gulp dryly at the pain in your foot. You barely have time to wonder how the knife ended up on your living room floor to be stepped on, instead of resting on your cutting board in the kitchen where you'd left it. When you spy something in the darkness just beyond the knife, it spies right back at you. A pair of glowing golden eyes come forward as the cat emerges from the shadows into the light from your doorway. It pads lightly over to the knife as if skipping in delight, and bends down to lap at the blood dripping from the blade. Your senses slowly begin to overwhelm you. The chill of the air as it starts to suffocate you under its weight. The sound of your shaky breaths discordant against the static now piercing your skull. The dryness on your tongue spreading to your throat. The incomprehensible sight of the stray you've taken in, licking away at your kitchen knife once again completely clean. The scent of blood from the fresh wound on your foot. Blood? Golden eyes slide up to you as if in response to your sudden realization. Blood. You're hurt. Your foot is bleeding. You're bleeding. You're bleeding. The cat barely moves, shoulders twitching as if just considering the act of pouncing forward. But you're already on your feet and out the door. You run, or rather limp, down the empty street. The sky is black and bleeding red. But there is a strange light emitting from nowhere that casts everything else in white. The houses, the trees, the road, even you. Everything, except your blood. You can just barely glimpse the bloody imprints your injured foot leaves in your wake with every impact it makes with the ground. It hurts. It hurts. But you can't stop. You don't stop. Not when the shadows grow around you. Not when you feel the gaze of eyes all over you. Not when the road ahead of you is darkened by a long shadow of something behind you. Even then, you don't stop running, because if that's the cat right there ahead of you, then what in the world is behind you? So I'm gonna go with keep running. Ooh. Huh? Interesting. How very, very interesting. Ending 0. It begins. Ah! You're walking? Right. Of course. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out, and you're actually glad that you did. The weather is absolutely perfect. Was it perfect last time? That's a good sign, right? Maybe your luck is finally starting to turn around. You tentatively follow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do. Maybe even who you could meet. You're so deep in thought that you almost miss it. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a lonely alleyway. The sunlight only just manages to reach down in between the tall buildings on either side. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward, the loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Finally, the sound source comes into view in the warm, almost ethereal light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box. Huh. Guess that should have been obvious. So cute! No? You look so... familiar. Right. Right. Oh yeah, but we're just gonna be distracted because you're so cute. Then again, it is a cat. Not many different ways for a standard black cat to look after all. This one sure is a cutie though. Just look. It's not glaring at you or hissing at you or getting close to you like other stray cats have in the past. It's fine. It likes me. We're connected. It's just sitting there. Menacingly. I mean patiently. Waiting for you to do something. Ah, oops. Oh, shit. Oh. I guess we gotta take the cat home. No. Is he disappointed in me? I'm never gonna learn my lesson. You're cute. Well, why not? On the way home, you briefly consider getting cat food. But that would be a waste of time. Hey! You shrug at the odd feeling and move on. Alright, we live in a modest apartment. I wonder if that's ever going to change. We ever get rich. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you wait for it to walk away and explore the new environment. But it simply sits and looks at you unexpectedly. Of course we're going to play with the cat. Like what? Poor thing was probably bored stiff sitting in that old box all day, just watching crowds of people walking by them, ignoring them. You can't just leave them alone as soon as you're home. A little interspecies socializing won't kill you, right? Aw, you just want some attention, don't you? You want to play, huh? Okay then. What to play though? If every movie and cartoon involving cats that you've watched since childhood is to be believed, then you can deduce with almost absolute certainty that cats friggin' love yarn. Probably. So cute. You unearth some from an old box in the hallway closet that's filled with knickknacks from various abandoned hobbies. You consider just handing the ball of bright red yarn over to the cat and supervising from the side. But that would defeat the whole idea of playing together, wouldn't it? You cut off a decent length of string from the ball of yarn and go back to the living room. The cat is resting on the floor. Just a little baby. It's not asleep, but when it looks up as you enter the living room, you feel like it could doze off right then and there. You'll fix that. You smirk a little, confident with your surprise, and let the piece of yarn dangle just above the floor, pinched between your thumb and index finger. Does it have to be red yarn? The sudden shift in the cat's demeanor makes your heart start to beat a little faster. Its posture has barely changed at all, just a subtle shift of the head and ears, a slight tension in the shoulders, a sharpness in the gaze as it locks onto the yarn dangling an inch above the floor. The cat could still pass as being almost relaxed, calm, and yet the air is thick with its eagerness to lunge forward, waiting for the right moment to strike. You feel like you've just witnessed the awakening of the perfect predator. You're almost afraid of what will happen once you make the first move. But it will be you who makes the first move. You take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and yoink! The cat had lunged the instant you wiggled the yarn. But you're faster. It completely misses you as you flick your wrists, making the yarn recoil out of its reach like a terrified snake. Having overshot the landing in its eagerness, the cat stumbles and looks around as if shocked at its failed attack. You generously click your tongue to help reorient it. The cat whips its head around at the sound. You're slightly taken aback at the intensity of its stare on the yarn, but you persist. You wiggle the yarn again encouragingly, and yes, maybe a little tauntingly. This time, the cat anticipates the yarn's upward dodge and leaps up to swipe at it. But you're already one step ahead, puppeting the yarn to dance gracefully out of the reach once more. Come on, you can do it. It's a little condescending, but you can't seem to help it. For some reason, it feels a little good knocking the feline down a peg or two. At least it seems to be enjoying itself. You hope, anyway. You keep going. Get dog. The cat's movements have gotten more aggressive. It must be getting frustrated. You could swear it nearly took a shot at your eye the last time. It had jumped so high and erratically. You've been keeping the yarn in constant motion, afraid to slow down. Your wrist is starting to get tired. The cat doesn't seem to be losing any energy, though. It's like it's getting faster and faster. Flick. 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 Oh, shit. Your wrist finally cramps sharply, making you lose control of the yarn's motion as the tip of it brushes lightly against your stomach. Oh, fuck. Okay. My guts are spilling out currently. Pain rips low across your torso, into your torso. Blood pours out of your mouth. In a daze, you look down and see red blooming slowly across the bottom of your shirt, around the tears in the fabric. Oh no, is that actually my intestines? Oh shit, wait. You watch as long No! My insides! You watch as long, thick ropes of something pour out from under your shirt into a bloody heap on the floor at your feet. A single red streak rope still hangs from you, connecting you to all that mess. Are those you? You crumble to the ground and topple over onto your side. Your vision has gone blurry. But you can just make out the shape of something small and a deep, inky black as it what? That's a weird sentence, right? Or am I crazy? Inky black as it walks over and inspects your... Oh god, they're your intestines. Before it starts to giddily roll around in the mass of your bloody insides next to you. I took the cat home. Darkness falls over you. The cat sounds happy. Nonsensically, you wonder where the yarn has gone, but there's really no need to worry about it. The cat seems content with the next best thing. Ending 11, at the end of your rope. This cat is mine. Like what? Oh, I think we're gonna pet the cat. Oh! Sorry, Typhoid. Cats don't like to be, like, washed, so I don't want to piss the cat off. Like, he already's gonna kill me. What is there to do but pet it to your heart's content? You sit on the floor in your living room and click your tongue to call the cat over. Oh, the cat dashes over to you, immediately climbing into your lap. Poor thing, you just want some attention, don't you? Alright. You carefully pet the cat. A rub behind the ear, a scratch under the chin, a smooth sweep along the back. Good. You keep petting the cat in your lap, enjoying this bonding time together. But the cat starts to get restless after a while. Well, usually if my cat doesn't want to be pet anymore, I stop petting her, right? Okay, we'll clean the cat. Upon giving it a second look, you realize that the cat isn't exactly clean. Not surprising, since up until you brought it home, it's just been sitting in a dirty old box, in an alley full of scattered garbage, for who knows how long. You've heard that cats can keep themselves clean, but maybe this is one of those times that a little human help couldn't hurt. You head into the bathroom and set things up, trying to remember how to wash a cat. You're definitely no expert, but you think the best way to get a cat clean would be... carefully. You think careful is the way to go. Cats aren't always fond of water, so you doubt it'll be a fan of an excessive amount of it. So you pick the cat up and place it gently in the sink before turning on the water. The cat is startled, but ultimately doesn't try to run away. Nice. You lather your hands with some soap and carefully give the cat a thorough half scrub, half massage. After a few minutes, you rinse the cat completely and gather it up in a blanket, drying it. Then you take a brush and carefully run it through the cat's fur. The cat seems like it's in heaven as you brush it. Some hairs are sticking to you, but you don't mind. In fact, quite a lot of fur is sticking to you. You try to brush it away, but it won't come off. Guess you're up next for a bath yourself. You try to ignore the fur and finish with the cat quickly, but more hair keeps sticking to you. Your hands, your arms. Before you realize it, they're covered in fur that won't come off. It's thick enough that you try to just yank it off, but... Ow, what? Pain lances through the spot you tugged at. Upon closer inspection, you see that the hair is growing. Growing out of you. Ah! You can actually feel it now. Fur growing out of your back, your neck, your face, and your eyes. Your tongue. It's even growing inside your throat. Help me! Help me! Help me! As you collapse and start to choke on the thickening fur in your esophagus, the cat leans up to lap up the fur growing on your forehead, grooming your hair as thoroughly as you did for it earlier. You think it'd be sweet if you weren't currently losing hair. Still, feels nice at least to be looked after and cared for in some way. Even if it's just for a little while longer. The cat's careful grooming is the last thing you feel before you're no longer able to breathe. Let's go. Oh my god. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. Well, why not? Let's get a little cat. Pet? Okay. This is... holy shit, this music is fucking mortifying. You're not quite ready to stop. You feel so calm. The repetitive actions soothing your usually overworking mind. You keep petting. The cat leans away from your next head pat. It's trying to get out of your lap. When you scratch under the cat's chin, it bites at your fingers. You might be bleeding, but really, it barely hurts. More of a warning than anything. The cat struggles in your hold. It's watching you closely. You keep petting the cat. The cat bites off your finger. It hurts. You're definitely bleeding now. But for some reason, you just can't stop. You don't know what it is. Its fur is so much softer than you realized. You'd think that it would be shining in the faint light of your living room, but it's as if the darkness of the cat's black coat is sucking in all the illumination around it, rendering it completely null. You're drawn to it, like you're somehow holding a deep, dark abyss right in your lap. It seems calmer now, munching on your severed finger. The stump between your thumb and middle finger is leaking. But you keep petting. You fret that your blood will ruin its fur, but the cat no longer seems to mind. Time passes. It's dark out now. Soft as the fur is, your palm has started to feel raw and damp under the constant friction from your petting. You think faintly that maybe you've had enough. You start to lift your hand from the cat. My whole hand? For real? My whole fucking hand? For real? Your entire hand is separated from your wrist. It flops onto your lap beside the cat. The cat's claws on its right front paw glisten with crimson liquid. You don't feel it for a moment, but your body tenses, anticipating the pain as you blankly watch the cat lick at the bloody palm of your severed hand. It hurts! It really, really hurts. Then the cat looks up at you, and you feel compelled to keep petting. You're reluctant, but you're also afraid of what will happen if you don't heed the call. What will you lose next if you try to resist again? You were hurt for your incessant petting earlier, yet now you've been hurt for trying to stop? It defies all logic, but that's what scares you. There's no reasoning with such fickle whims. You feebly try to raise your uninjured hand to pet the cat, but it stiffens, golden eyes glinting dangerously. Well, all right then. You raise your bleeding stump and resume your petting to the best of your ability. You pet and you bleed. You pet and you bleed. You pet and you. Personal boundaries. You can't stop me from taking this cat home. Okay, I feel like we should try the option feed the cat because technically we haven't had the option to feed the cat. The cat looks hungry, so you decide to feed it. You're regretting not stopping for food earlier as you don't have much left. Grocery shopping day is tomorrow after all. You head down to the kitchen and click your tongue, ensuring the cat follows after you. It leaps nimbly onto the kitchen counter and watches you search for other meal options. Let's see. You find some things you expect. Can of tuna in the pantry, some leftover meatloaf in the fridge, and... what's that? You realize there's a tightly sealed Tupperware on the bottom shelf of the fridge. You don't recognize it. A foul odor is leaking from the container. Whatever's inside can't be safe for human consumption. But the cat seems excited about it, practically salivating over it. Still, you're the caretaker here. You're the one who needs to decide what's best for a hungry cat. So you'll feed it... Let's go with the mystery food, right? That's what it wants. Is this really a good idea? Fine. I guess if this is what you want. You open the container and... Ugh! You just barely manage to keep from throwing up. But just barely. The stench is overwhelming. Yeah, give me a minute. Oh gosh. You hazard a look at the contents of the container, but you honestly can't understand what you're supposed to be looking at. Everything is just mashed together. What exactly everything consists of is a mystery you're more than happy to keep unsolved. Different shapes, different sizes, different textures. Not the color, though. All of it is the same color. The most unfortunate looking shade of gray you've ever seen, tinted with a nauseatingly wet green film over the top. Am I supposed to warm it up, or you don't really know how to serve it? Any utensil or plate that touches it is getting thrown out immediately. No exceptions. Your hands are going to be scrubbed with soap and hot water to within an inch of their lives after this. You decide against putting this crap in your microwave. You doubt it would taste or smell any better warm. Not wanting to hold it anymore, you shake your head and practically toss the container next to the cat on the counter. The cat enthusiastically dives for the toxic-looking sludge, sniffing it as if savoring the scent. You turn to the fridge and close it. You've lost your appetite. You're about to head to the bathroom to wash your hands for the next hour or so when... Ow! A sharp pain on your foot causes you to stumble. You catch yourself on the kitchen sink and look down to see that the tip of your sock is... red. And the red is slowly spreading to the rest of your sock. Are you bleeding? You quickly reach down and pull off your sock to see the damage. Is that me in that container? What if that's me in that container and as he eats it, he's eating me? Like pieces of me. Your middle toe is gone. It's just gone. Just a stump left in its place, steadily leaking blood onto the floor. Uh, you clumsily step back as if it would help you get away from what you were seeing. The blood trail simply follows your movements. 911. You have to call 911. Phone. Where's the... Whoa, whoa, your tongue is... What, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening to me? You slowly look over to find the cat still eating, completely unbothered by your suffering. Munch, munch, munch. Not bothering to try and stop the blood from dribbling out of your mouth, you keep watching in a daze as the cat happily chews at a gross piece of... Wait, that's... You look more closely at the mystery food in the cat's jaws. It looks vaguely familiar. It looks like a tongue. Munch and gulp. Before you can even think to do anything to stop it, the cat dives into the container again and bites into a piece of... You collapse to the floor, clutching your torso. You writhe around on the blood-streaked tiles, crying. Something inside you just... Blood pours out from deep within you. Whatever that was felt important. And now it's probably gone too. It hurts. It hurts so much. Stop, please. You weakly try and reach up to the cat on the counter above you. Your vision blurs from the effort, from the pain, from your tears, from... Your eyes. Your eyes! You fall limply back onto the floor. You're leaking blood all over. From all over. Your foot, your mouth, your insides, your eye sockets. You can feel your life fading away too. That's fine. If it means not feeling the pain of losing another part of you, then... Hopefully the cat will take its time eating your eyeballs and give you time to just... You are what you eat. Fuck, I called it! Fuck. Meatloaf! You get the feeling the cat won't be too impressed with anything that comes out of a can, and you're not about to feed it whatever the heck that toxic looking sludge is. Yeah, totally. Totally won't do that. It's settled. A tuna sandwich for you and leftover meatloaf for your feline guest. You ignore the cat's disappointed meows as you put the weird container back into the fridge to dispose of later. You warm up the meatloaf in the microwave. You place the now warm meatloaf on a saucer next to the cat on the counter. You don't think you should be encouraging it to eat up there, but you figure it'll make up for electing not to feed it the toxic goop it wanted. The cat looks like it finds the meatloaf interesting. Works for you. Eat up, kitty. As the cat digs into its meal, you go about searching for some bread for your tuna sandwich. You're so distracted by your search that you only just barely hear... You turn around and see that the meatloaf has only one, maybe two bites taken out of it. But more alarmingly, there seems to be a red trail of something leading away from where the cat had been sitting and off the edge of the counter towards the living room. Is that blood? You jump at the strange sound coming from around the corner, further into your apartment. You attempt to steel your nerves. Taking a breath, you walk around the counter to head into the living room. You stepped in something warm and wet and red. You resist the urge to vomit and step away from the trail of... You follow the trail into the living room and see that it leads into the hall. It's getting louder. It's definitely in the hall. You feel like you can hear your heartbeat. You hope whatever is in the hall can't. Your body shakes as you feel yourself step forward, and forward, and forward. You peek around the corner. Nothing. There's nothing there. What? You walk further into the hall and see that the trail leads all the way down to the end of it. But there's nothing there. You don't quite feel relief, but at least... Plop. You feel something wet and warm drip onto your cheek. Something very warm. You swipe your shaking hand across it and pull it back to see your fingers covered in something. You look up and see what can only be described as meat. The entire ceiling of the hallway is covered in a thick, undulating, writhing layer of pulsing meat. At its center is a single glowing eyeball frantically rolling around in every direction until it lands squarely on you. You try and take a step back, desperate to escape the hallway, to escape this thing, but before you can even scream, meaty tendrils shoot out and grab you. No! Let me go! They pull you up and up into a pair of slowly opening jaws. And then... chomp! Tuna. Shrugging, you take out the tuna for the cat and the meatloaf for yourself. You put the frankly ominous container back in the fridge. The cat looks a little disappointed. Tough. You'll need to dispose of that weird whatever it is later. You open the tuna and spoon it into a small saucer. You put the saucer on the kitchen counter next to the cat. You don't think you should be encouraging it to eat up there, but you figure it'll make up for electing not to feed it the toxic goop it wanted. The cat looks like it finds the tuna acceptable. You'll take it. Eat up, kitty. As the cat digs into its meal, you go about heating up the meatloaf in the microwave. While setting the time, you hear... You turn and see that the plate is completely empty. Whoa, that was quick. You need to pace yourself. What the... You watch baffled as the cat continues to hiccup, causing little bubbles to float out of its mouth. Okay. That's okay. You can process this. It's not completely out of the realm of what's possible, right? Right? Best not to think too hard about it. Soon enough, the room is full of floating bubbles. The cat releases a final tiny bubble before yawning and laying down right there on the counter. Well, glad you enjoyed it. The bubbles haven't left the room or popped. They seem to be pretty resilient. Wait, what? What's that? As one of the bubbles floats closer to you, you see that there's actually something inside it. It looks like a fish. A tiny, furry fish? This is just getting weirder and weirder. Still, you can't help but marvel at the impossible wonder in front of you. You lift a hand. You extend a finger towards a bubble. Carefully press it against the surface. The little fish inside lashes out, viciously sinking tiny fangs into your finger. It doesn't really hurt that much at first, but then... Ah, what? Pain starts to climb from your finger to the rest of your hand, past your wrist. Could it be some kind of venom? You fling your arm around in an attempt to dislodge the fish, but... You accidentally knock your arm into several of the bubbles floating around. More tiny, ravenous fish latch onto your flesh. You stumble back out of pain and a sudden bout of dizziness, only to bump into more bubbles. More fish digging their teeth into your back. It hurts. You're getting dizzy. You've got to get out. You deliriously try to stumble out of the kitchen. But the entire room is filled with the deadly bubbles. By the time you collapse to the ground, you're absolutely covered in tiny, angry, biting fish. Your legs, your torso, your arms, your face. The pain is unbearable. You can feel it in your skin and your teeth and your eyes and your hair, and And it's so consuming you can't even feel yourself convulsing or crying. You don't black out. Your eyes are still rolling up into your skull when you gasp out your last breath. Oh god, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Now we're gonna leave the cat alone. Like what? What should we do? I feel like I'm definitely gonna die when I'm trying to sleep if I take a nap. But okay. You're a little tired from the events of the day. Making life-changing choices like committing to the responsibility of caring for another living creature really wears you out. You could definitely use a nap. You head to your room and get dressed in your pajamas before you decide to grab a glass of water from the kitchen. You head back to your bedroom, ready for a much-needed nap.
Yeah, we're gonna all become nice, well rested. We're not gonna be tired ever again. Whoa!
Only for the cat to race past through the open door and jump on the middle of the bed.
Aww.
It takes its time kneading in the sheets before settling down and closing its eyes. Well, that was fast. You frown thoughtfully. Now that your mind's on it, you find yourself really craving a nap in your own bed. There's no way you're settling for sleeping on the couch, certainly not the armchair. Which means you should sleep next to the cat. You shrug. What's the harm in sharing a bed, right? You both have had a long day after all. You try to carefully avoid jostling the cat as you lay down, but it immediately scoots over and curls up against you anyway.
Aww. Aww.
You smile.
Yes, I do.
Sweet dreams. You feel like you slept for a long time. You feel a warm weight on your back, but you don't see the... Oh, mystery solved then. You feel comfortable. You consider getting up. But as soon as the thought enters your head, your mind fills with static and a deep sense of disapproval? Not yet then. Okay. The cat, jostled by your attempts at movement, kneads painfully at your back before settling down again and falling back asleep. You fall back into slumber too. It's night. You want to get up. Claws dig into your back like a warning. Tomorrow then, right? It's morning. You'll be late for work, but the cat doesn't budge. You don't even try to get up this time. You just close your eyes and drift off again. It's the next day. Since the last several days. Or has it been weeks? Or longer? You're not quite sure. You're hungry. You don't know how long you've been laying down. You feel sore on your back, but also your stomach, your arms, and your face. Everywhere. You can't remember your last meal. The last time you drank anything. You've been sleeping all this time. But you feel exhausted. More tired than you think you've ever felt in your life. It feels like a giant hand is pressing you into the bed. You can't remember the last time you even considered moving. But somehow you know that you need to go back to sleep anyway. Everything will be fine if you just go back to sleep. You think you're hallucinating when the cat finally stirs. It stretches languidly before hopping off your back. You hear its feet padding through your still open bedroom door, its steps fading down the hall. You don't open your eyes. You don't move. You're afraid you don't remember how. You're afraid that the static will return if you try, but you eventually do try. You try to prop yourself up on your arm. It's thinner than you've ever seen it, thinner than you think should be possible. The arm snaps under the weight of your body and crumbles to dust on the bed sheets. It doesn't hurt in the slightest, as if the nerves have dried up and become as useless as, well, as useless as you feel in general. Just how long have you been laying in bed? You don't have much time to think about it. Your failed attempt at sitting up sends you tumbling over the side of the bed like a rag doll. But you think you're probably closer to being a ceramic doll, as your body shatters instantly upon impact with the floor. Your head rolls towards the door, letting you watch as the rest of your strewn body parts crack and crumble, and turn to broken ruin as your consciousness begins to fade. The cat strolls into view then, poking and prodding at the remains of your brittle limbs. Bad kitty, you try to say. But you think your jaw might have snapped off earlier as well. Almost as if sensing your attention, the cat walks over to you, well, your head at least, and you watch with your final conscious seconds as it lays down, curling its body around you. It feels warm. Well, maybe another nap couldn't hurt. I like that ending. I think that's like one of my favorite endings so far. Sure. Like what? Do we still want to take a nap and try and take a nap without the cat? Or do we want to do something else? Movie? Okay. You're not tired enough for a nap, but you're too lazy to get started on any of your chores. So you decide to watch a movie. You get dressed in your favorite pajamas, make some popcorn with an obscene amount of butter, and head over to your armchair. Only to discover that the cat is already napping on it. You frown a little in thought. Your couch isn't at the best angle for optimal TV viewing pleasure, and you don't feel like pushing it around and having to put it back later. The only options you have left are to sit on the floor or move the cat and reclaim your throne. I'm thinking of sitting on the floor because that's what I probably do. You decide to sit on the floor. The cat is a guest after all, and you pride yourself in being a good host if nothing else. Well, at least you would if you'd ever gotten any guest over before. You grab a blanket and some pillows and make a comfy nest in front of the chair. You pop in a random movie from your collection and can tell instantly that it's one of your favorite horror films. You've seen it a few times already, but it never fails to get your blood pumping. A few minutes in and you're already invested, getting reacquainted with the story and characters. The scares won't come until later, but for some reason you feel like something is watching you from behind. You know it's probably nothing, but you feel compelled to check anyway. You peek over your shoulder. Ah! Only to jump out of your skin, jostling a few pieces of popcorn out of the bowl in your lap. The cat is awake and looking right at you. You take a calming breath, recovering from your heart nearly lurching out of your chest, and immediately feel foolish. It was just the cat, of course. It was so quiet you'd forgotten it was right behind you, even though it was the whole reason you're sitting on the floor in the first place. You shakily pick up the remote, intending to rewind some of the parts you missed. However, as soon as you press the rewind button, the TV shuts off. You blink, confused. Nothing else turned off. The kitchen's dimmed light was still on. The digital clock was still glowing, and the movie player was still rewinding. The power clearly didn't go out, so why? You feel a chill run down your spine as you catch the cat's reflection in the dark TV screen. It's still looking at you. Cats stare, silly. It's kind of their thing, right? And you're a new addition in its life. Of course it's going to study you closely to see if you're trustworthy. As you mentally reassure yourself, you turn the TV back on. What? The TV's on, but the movie isn't playing on screen. It's you. You watch yourself frown on screen as you feel your brow furrow in tandem. It's like footage of you in real time, like you're being recorded. You feel the familiar sensation of your mind focusing on small details to avoid the bigger picture of your current situation, avoiding the questions of how this is happening, or who or what is doing this, and why. Suddenly, your mirrored self smiles and waves at you, all on its own. You don't wave back, too stunned to move. The you on screen doesn't seem to mind, though. It then stands up and walks out of frame. And a terrified yell rips out of your mouth before you can think to stifle it. On screen, in the chair, is the cat. But it's wrong. It's become a large, swollen mass of black fur, its twitching pulse a rhythmical with its slow, almost methodical breaths. Its mouth is a yawning entrance to a black abyss framed by a set of teeth that look very, very sharp. Glowing eyes bulge all over its body. It's still looking at you. It doesn't even acknowledge your on-screen persona as they walk back into frame and pet it almost lovingly. Then, the you inside the TV touches one of the cat's fangs. You flinch at a sudden sharp pain in your palm. You look down and sure enough, your hand is bleeding. You're not particularly afraid of blood, but for some reason, the sight of it leaking out of you sends another chill down your back. A thought, clear and terrible, flashes across your mind. It's not just the mutated cat in the TV that's watching you, is it? Don't look behind you. Don't look behind you. Don't look behind you. You watch helplessly as your on-screen self smiles and nods at you almost encouragingly. They stand in front of the cat's gaping jaws. They look into the dark depths, and as you're torn between the horrifying realization of what's about to happen and the gripping wonder of what they see looking back at them from the deep, deep darkness, they jump in. Darkness is a sudden presence all around you, pressing in, holding you down, and yet you somehow also feel weightless. You can't tell if you're falling, but it doesn't feel like you're laying down or standing either. You feel warm. You feel cold. You feel everything. You feel nothing. You feel nothing. I think we have time for one more. This feels wrong. Sorry, kitty, but that's my spot. You pick up the cat and place it on the floor. It's clearly upset with you. When you try to pet it as an apology, it dodges your hand and scampers away. You shrug and put on a random movie before nestling into your chair. It's some horror film that you love to heckle from the beginning to end. Nothing but endless string of pointless jump scares. Do the writers not know the meaning of the word subtle? What was that? Was that the bathroom? The cat must have gotten into the medicine cabinet or knocked something over. Calming your thundering heart with a deep breath, you pause the movie and get up to investigate. Whoa! The cat dashes between your legs from the hall. Fleeing the scene only makes you look guiltier, you know. You're even more reluctant to see the damage now. You just want to relax and watch your bad horror movie. You go into the bathroom and turn on the light. Just as you thought, all the stuff in your medicine cabinet is scattered on the tiles. You sigh. At least none of it looks broken or damaged. You crouch down to pick everything up. Did the door just close? Did you bump it when you crouched down, or... Well, at least the cat can't come in and make more of a mess this way. The lights. Didn't you just replace the bulbs? They weren't faulty, were they? You never remember to hold onto your receipts for situations like these. You doubt you'll be able to get your money back. You stand up. You shake the pain from your knees from crouching and open up your medicine cabinet. Carefully, you place everything back where they belong, making sure nothing is missing. You close the cabinet door. You jump back, slamming against the wall, covering your mouth. You look back up at the mirror on the medicine cabinet door to see nothing. Nothing? What the hell? Something was... You know you saw something just now. You know you did, right? You rush out of the bathroom and slam the door behind you without looking. You enter the hall and... No. No, no, no! You shield yourself with your arms and... Nothing. Nothing again. You peek through your fingers and see... just your usual hallway. You don't feel very good. You need to sit down. You carefully make your way back to the dark living room, trying not to overwhelm your senses any more than you already have. Maybe you should watch something a little more lighthearted, or just lie down instead. You don't know. It's just a little hard to think. You just need to sit down. Stumbling forward, you reach your chair, but it's nothing at all. Just the cat, just sitting back in the chair again, looking up at you curiously. But it's enough. Your heart lurched so harshly out of a mixture of fear and anticipation that it completely gives out. Your eyes roll up into your skull. You feel yourself falling back. You're dead before you even hit the ground. Heading for real subtle. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. I love you guys so freaking much. Happy first day of Halloween.